We have a fairly small group, but I think we can get started. So let's start with company update.
So most of us are in Hong Kong. Uh, Most of us spend the day in an office together. Yeah, so if people listen to this and they've been a contributor and they want to come out here at all, we have a big office.
Great.
Yeah, no, and I think, the other thing we discussed today was we can't keep these abstractions have to work for other people. They can't just be my weird shit. I think we're gonna have to spend a long time after we delete the old stack, just cleaning things up and making this stuff accessible to other people.
Cool.
There's still, yeah. I'll get to this next point.
Great. Anything to say about Tinybox?
They're moving. Yeah, you were right. We sold one last week. We only shipped one last week. We shipped three the week before. So
We're doing update version for Red.
uh yeah, something like that. We haven't announced anything yet. But yeah, I think there'll be a Red V2.
Great. Yeah, I think someone asked the picture.
Oh, will the Reds be back in stock anytime soon? Yeah, we need to focus on Tiny Grad. I don't care about this. We got someone who wants to buy Tiny Box Pros too. We also have Tiny Box Pros. They're 8 5090s. We're gonna sell them for $50,000. 5U rack mountable workstation. Yeah, rack mountable workstation. That's the term we should use.
What is it? Data center certified?
Oh, definitely not. No, no, no. And if you're going to use it in the data center, you better pay attention to your license agreements because I'm not the one violating them.
Mm,
But if you're using it for cryptocurrency mining, I believe that's okay.
interesting. Okay.
Yes, if you use it, it's licensed for data center deployment if you use it for cryptocurrency mining.
That's very important. We'll put a checkbox saying I will be only using it for crypto mining.
Yeah.
Great. Okay, so let's get to the meat of the meeting. Let's Rangify.
So yeah, I fixed the random jet thing. I fixed the GPT-2 thing.
And
The
for the people in this meeting who didn't participate in our last meeting, this is the focus of the company and the top priority now. We are kind of upgrading the infra so that this new abstraction can support more advanced stuff that is impossible now. So in the meantime, we need to fix a lot of regressions and like tests. So here, we discussed a lot in the office today for how to make progress. And here, I think we have like some ideas for focusing on making the spec, uh, tightening the spec to make the like possible states smaller. And here I list some like remaining bugs that is in the PR to make Rangify default, and I believe there are probably more. It's just this is the frontier of things that's failing.
Yeah, I did some stuff on performance today too. I fixed the efficient net. Like it mostly just emulates the old scheduler, but it seems strictly better in all the things that work. Like they all seem to. The only annoying thing is we no longer have reduced splitting, so we can decide if we want to add that back or if we want to improve the kernels.
Uh, yeah, I think that falls into the tuning for default part. We can
Yeah,
quickly go through these, making sure like everyone is working on some of this. Hopefully, we can get this end of this week.
yeah,
Okay.
it sounds good.
So spec equals to 1 is so previously, so TinyGrad is pretty much OU up, and it's very important to limit the spec for every UOP. UOP has like source and arguments for different ops. And previously we have kind of a step check. TinyGrad has like multiple passes and like lower things from tensor to the intermediate ones, then lower to the linearized ones, then finally render into streams. And we have like we have a step check to making sure when you like pass this stage, what's the possible set of the UOP. But we didn't really check like all the intermediate ones. But we didn't have like a spec for that. So George just added spec equals to 1 today. So that is it's kind of checking every created UOP needs to follow these specs.
Yeah, I think especially once we switch only to Rangerify, we can delete a whole bunch of UOPs. We delete a whole bunch of op types, we can delete view and stuff. And then we should have a relatively small spec. We can also get rid of, we can merge assign and store. Yeah, then I think the spec overall will be pretty small, and we can check every UOP on creation. So it's important that like every intermediate state preserve the spec. I fixed a few things in the devectorizer that didn't. Maybe there's a few things in the index stuff that don't also.
Great. Okay. So we can quickly go through the remaining bugs. We find the random counter increment thing in JIT. That was the issue for Beautiful MNIST. So Beautiful MNIST, we find few things about Beautiful MNIST, but one of it is because the random doesn't work properly with JIT. It's like creating it's like if you overfit one batch, you got 95%. Our current master has like 98%, and this behavior is kind of trend on a smaller batch, like gives you 97%. And things like these are very hard to debug because it just, in this case, we got lucky because it's kind of easy to tell it's like 98 versus 97. But just imagine in a much bigger model, it's very hard to say, okay, now our model regressed by slightly. Is it a bug or a numerical or something else? So it's good that we kind of fix. We at least root cause this. Okay, and GPT-2 weight is transpose on disk is wrong or silently wrong.
Yeah, it's not a Rangerify related bug. Rangerify just exposed it because it didn't push the transpose after the copy.
Oh, so what's the current behavior? It doesn't transpose?
The current behavior is it doesn't transpose and it's just silently wrong.
How? Oh, but there's no like access issue or anything. Now the shape is different.
The shape changes, but it just doesn't actually transpose.
Anyway, this is was buried, I assume. Okay. Next is multi-assign. I saw the change to move multi earlier before the Rangerify stuff. Does it fix
Yes,
multi-assign?
it does fix the sharding stuff, which are the main bugs. There are a few remaining bugs in assign and multi. I think if I fix that, all the other tests in multi should pass. We currently have 8 more failing tests. I also fixed permuted assign today, so that should be good.
Okay.
And right now, the only failing test in assign is if you have a diamond that would create a cycle, the old scheduler would assert, the new one just gives a wrong answer. The path forward is to either fix diamonds by just making a copy. If that doesn't work, I'll just assert it to like detect that pattern
Well, let's the test that expect 4444 but gives you 7777. That one.
Yes. The
Okay.
correct, the old behavior was to assert and say you can't do this. I don't know if there are thoughts about.
I think adding the copy is probably better if it's easy.
Agreed. Yeah. Currently, Rangify does actually realize the input to the assign. It's just that sometimes it gets optimized away when it shouldn't.
Yeah, if you detect the cycle there, you can just not optimize it away.
Yeah, I'll clean up to not do anything for that.
Great.
Yeah. That's the plan.
Cool. Next is cons reduce folding. I have a PR that does this. The issue is in some other, I think, unrelated part. It has some index because I just reuse some of the later patterns, and I think there are patterns that cast index into something else. I will revisit this after C's fix the indexing issue and see that make this easier.
Yeah, I think if we're careful about always making sure the types are right on index.
Yeah, because this idea, the idea of doing this is easy. It's just not so clear to. It was not clear to me what the output UP should be looking like, and like why sometimes the types are wrong.
Yeah, you should never, invalid should only exist on index. So what you do is you create one where with an index at the end, if you listen to this meeting. I made it already so the const that is invalid is never changed from index type, but you want to not change the last where also.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So this we'll revisit later. There are some discussions for I think the Open Pilot big rewrite stack. I saw Seed has a attempt, and Giorgio also comment on.
Yeah, I really wouldn't do it. I really wouldn't do it like that. Again, this is just throwing shit at the wall. Like, don't do that. I think what you have to do, well, first off, instrument it. Like, you can instrument how many rewrites are happening. And yeah, don't do. See if there's n squared behavior. I think what you want to do is if rewrite's not ready, you don't just want to put it on the end of the stack. You want to put it on a separate stack. And then that stack will only be visited if the main stack's empty.
Then, so that's equivalent to every time you insert something that is. Okay, anyway, yeah, that's just algorithm change.
Yeah. But it's an algorithm change that only touches the rewrite not ready part and not everything.
Okay. Sounds good. Next is hashing. Was Perry find anything about hashing? Is it incorrect or slow or something else?
Yeah, there's some rewrite rule that fails currently.
What do you mean by fail?
Like the error is out. Like it doesn't count.
Oh, okay. Okay, so that's hashing. And then the one in linear algebra, the QR and SVD, I think it's related to assign, but I can double check. Looks like because SVD is built on top of the QR, and QR has some string assign that if I make some quick realize, it seems to fix part of it. So I think it's related, but I don't know if it's just that and not clear how to fix it yet. This I will look later. Next is the thing. It's kind of optimization, but kind of important. Is the buff limits for Metal and for Web GPU. I saw Nimogen, you have a attempt on that. I don't know if you have update on that.
Yeah, I fixed metal on non-rangify because it was broken. It didn't account for variables. And we have tests now. And because of that, actually I used to implement buffer limiting before rangify, so it was as simple as realize. But because we need variables, it should be after rangify because they happen at this stage. So yeah.
And you like to take the variables from the queue up?
Yeah.
I wouldn't do that. I would do it at the last minute.
After the first bufferized pass.
Yeah.
See.
Because buffers can be optimized out also. Nimogen, you want to look at memory usage, just memory usage in general.
Yeah.
So there's a function that's commented out now called remove dead axes. I think you're going to want to fix that and make that work. So what that does is sometimes there's an axis going into a bufferize that's just a range. That's not actually, the range isn't actually used anywhere. And this happens when...
Can you post the link?
Yeah.
Yeah, to the commented.
Yeah. If you just search for remove dead axes, it's in Rangerify. Hang on, I'm bringing it up now. But yeah, so I think you're going to want to make that work, and then just in general look at memory usage for things.
It's related to the next one. I think CFAR now tries to allocate a variable buffer.
That's a commented out thing. But yeah, so if a range isn't used, if a range is only used in bufferize and it's not used in any of its parents, then you can just remove that range and make the buffer that much smaller. Right, because that's just like an expanded axis.
Okay.
Yeah, I would guess that's a lot of the memory usage. Yeah, just make sure all the stuff's correct with the memory planner and yeah, how have you been finding reading Rangeify?
It's fine. I think I mean, it's not really polished, but yeah, it's readable.
Cool. Yeah, no, I mean, there's a lot of polish work to do. And when you get here, and like I think that'll be most of this month, will be two basic things: just getting Rangeify merged, deletion of tons of stuff. We're going to delete the ST method. We're going to delete the shape tracker entirely, every reference to the shape tracker, a whole list of UOps, a whole list of ops, like ops.view. All that can go. Any reference to view can go. And then, yeah, so those cleanups, and then better abstracting where the decisions are. So there's a bunch of decisions made in Rangeify. Right now, there's like Rangeify 1 and Rangeify 2. Rangeify 2 is more aggressive about like partial buffer fusion. But yeah, we're going to have to like expand the notion of the memory planner to see what we can fit in locals and what we can fit in globals and stuff.
Sounds good. Deleting stuff is nice. I also just pushed benchmark, set Drinkify equals to 1. And I think stable diffusion failed because of some infinite loop in rewrite. Then CFAR failed because of trying to allocate a very big buffer apparently. Then there's BERT that fail. Oh, BERT is also the infinite loop. So these are new. So I don't know what's happening. We will take a look.
I see.
Okay.
Yeah. That has to be the remove dead access thing. They cannot allocate like 76 petabytes or something.
That and didn't really check, but maybe Stable Diffusion and BERT, we have a smaller version of that in test real world, so probably also shows there.
Yeah, some slight regression to
what-
comma speed.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't want to regress that. Yeah, that's I think that's part of the tuning. I think after we fix the correctness issue, then we can think more about tuning some of
Yeah.
the do we like split reduce, or what's the default optimization? Is there anything else that we need to look? I think least we can revisit after we fix the correctness issue. But I don't know. So far feels not too bad compared to a few days ago.
Yeah, no, I think there's definitely been progress.
Okay. Anything else on Rangify?
Not really.
We talked about this at night. We want to also make it better in the tooling to follow the Rangify graph. Currently, the indexes are very hard to read compared to the movement hops graph before PM Rangify. That's gonna be another project. Right now, like I can't read that graph. It's all scattered.
Yeah, I think that what you might be able to do is literally just render index, like do dot render on it. And we can add a little thing which puts it, uses like C-style array. I think that'll look pretty good.
We'll try that. Yeah, just not
It-
render the sources as nodes, right?
I mean, you're gonna want to keep them as nodes too, but I would just add a separate thing to index, which just has a special, like render.
Is there a value to these sources?
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to like start deleting the actual ranges. Well, we can play with this tomorrow, but yeah, I don't think we actually want to delete the sources.
I'll try it.
Okay. And we have a user that is interested to know if there's a plan for outer world Rangify.
Yeah, we discussed this a
Okay.
bit today. Good. Yeah, see, the users want Outer World Rangify.
So we had a heated discussion in the office today about should we do outer world Rangify and if people will find it useful. I think if we can find a use case that makes sense for user to specify things, we discuss about like in the inference stack, you want to abstract your data loading, you apply a function to that. And maybe there are some other cases that this will be useful. So I think definitely after we finish the correctness and delete a bunch of stuff, making a cleaner place, we'll think about like what to expose. And similar to Beautiful MNIST, if we like really write this and have a more beautiful version of the examples that we offer, we definitely make it like a user specifiable feature.
But yeah, there's no reason that the range graph can totally exist within the tensor graph. The tensor graph can't really exist. Like you have to get rid of the tensor graph in order to render things, but you can totally add a few ranges and it should just work fine. Like
So
in theory, you can think about Rangify going one range at a time. Like you could like take the first axis and just Rangify that, and then take the second axis and Rangify that, and like slowly remove things from the shape one at a time. But we are going to need some. We are going to need some UOP like end range, which puts things back in the shape.
Yes. And I think that's a reason why it's not a priority now, but we will think it later when we are done with the current Rangify.
Yeah, that's right.
There's interest, and another similar thing is the rewrite of multi. I think now if we change the order of multi, it works now, so that's great. But we definitely will want to make multi just kind of part of the Rangify as well.
Finally the right abstraction for this stuff. PyTorch is still on multi-lazy buffer. We used to have a class called multi-lazy buffer, and I thought it was clever. It was like, oh look, I can make a list of lazy buffers. You don't want anything like this. So PyTorch has a class called dtensor, which is basically this.
Yeah, and later we can use the Rangify multi should naturally give us like a multi-shard multi-tensor or whatever that is, because now you just have to.
Well, yeah, and I think with our driver, we can do something pretty incredible where we just like view the same memory layout on all the GPUs and stuff.
Great. Okay. So let's Rangify. And with that, we can move on to other bounties. Do we have
There's a
any?
bunch. There's a bunch available if people are interested. $800 if someone can figure out how to make Winograd a generic rewrite rule. Should be doable. $300 for the metal compiler actually going in the beam process. I think UVN's got that locked, and he's gonna get it for free once the next version of macOS comes out, just for updating the API. If somebody can get GPT OSS to run fast, okay, the NIR backend, cool. Yeah, we have some progress there. So the NIR backend is going to give us a full path to running NVIDIA without CUDA. Mesa has a replacement for SAS. Well, we just render to NIR. It's pretty cool. And then we can do all the Mesa stuff too. Mesa has a Qualcomm backend. And yeah, I mean, we've made some progress in this direction with like the CPU and CPU LLVM thing. Another thing that we could search across is just which compiler to use. I bet we'll be able to make some OpenPilot kernels faster by using the Mesa compiler. Yeah, OpenPilot speed.
Talking about non-contiguous for search space.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
I don't know whatever happened to the person who was working on Thunderbolt GPUs, but that would be cool. We should like to. I want to test that soon too. Comma's making. Comma's going to start selling an external GPU. Because all the ones on Amazon are ripoff. We made our own. So yeah, gonna start selling them. And they don't just work with OpenPilot devices; they work with computers too.
Okay. UNTG, you want to share something you're working on?
The AMD machine didn't work last week, so I didn't expect GPU and both down.
I cannot really hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, go on.
Last week, the AMD machine goes down. GPU goes down. So I think
My machine is down.
the MI 300 and the MI 350 goes down.
They're all down.
The GPU down. Now works today.
Oh, machine is up, but GPU drop.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't know if it's proper to start it.
well, it looks like Tiny AMD 3 needs to insert the AMD GPU module.
I mean, next
Nimble,
time,
any progress there with doing it without AMD GPU?
No, I haven't done that. The only thing that still to implement is the GMC9, I mean, like the page tables format and all these things. I mean, it's slightly different. Yeah.
I see all the GPUs up in the MI300 boxes. Wait, oh wow, AMD 4 just has 6 GPUs though. I don't know what happened.
I think for people
Fatal.
who are using this machine, if you find the machine is down or the GPU disappear, just post somewhere and so that people know the machine has issues.
I just rebooted AMD 4. It only had 6 GPUs.
Yeah, the idea is you shouldn't be blocked if the machine's bad. It won't fix it by itself. Someone needs to reboot the machine or do something. Cool. Okay. What else? We have Fleta here. You have anything to say about RetinaNet?
Not that much yet. I think I was talking to Zibo Copy about the that JIT issue that I was experiencing with the mass select. I tried with optimize equals true, but I think the last time when I tried it last week, what happened was that it hung. So I think Seeds restarted the machine, so that was okay. So I'll have to take a look into that see if that fixes that issue, because he also had problems with I think related to the on exchanges that he made. So I'll take a look into that, and hopefully that helps with my case.
It'll be cool to get. We should try to get something submitted on the 350 machines if we can. That'd be great.
Okay, sounds good.
Do you have access to the 350s?
No, not yet.
We should get your access.
Okay. Oh, what's the deadline again? I think the deadline is next Friday.
I think 2 weeks, right? October 11th.
Yeah, I think it's like next Friday, 1 p.m. California time or something like that. RetinaNet eval has data dependent shape. Great. Good and symbolic just work. Okay, anyway, if you're blocked by a machine, we'll find you a machine. And if you have like some smaller repo for things like you believe should work in user space, but it's not working, feel free to just post it, create an issue somewhere.
Okay, sounds good.
We also have Hoof here. I commented on your PR. You have anything else to share?
No, not really. I addressed the LR scheduler PR, so that's ready again, and the clip one will be ready very soon.
Cool. Yeah, I think Lowe's looks fine. I just want to make sure. I think the principle is anything that touches main TinyGrad will need to be separated. The training should not impact the inference script, but we also don't want a lot of if something in the script to make a stable diffusion model or the UNet model too complicated. But otherwise, I think you have been making good progress on this. It should be good. Okay. What else?
I think we can have a short meeting today. We spent most of the time in the office.
Great. Okay. That's it for today. Thank you, everyone. See you next week. Bye bye.
Bye.